I think after we understand that, and especially when the whole process begins, when there's this government change that I can't wait for, and everything else happens according to the scenario, then the next thing is they would announce the Federation. The Federation would then formally announce who they are and what they're doing and the reasons behind why contact is happening, and then we would have contact. And that would usually be about 6 to 8 months after this whole process of the government and the monies and all that happens. So I am sitting here anxiously waiting for the magic moment to happen. And so,
because it's going to really rock our world, as the expression goes, that everything that, not only is everything that we were told is no longer so, or the majority is no longer so, it's going to certainly change or shift the change of power, that it's no longer going to be so much each individual governing state, is it? We're going to look to another place. Are they looking to govern us, or are they looking to help us?
No, what they're looking for is to help us to govern ourselves, create our own star nation. This whole process is about taking us to the next level of consciousness, which is the ultimate level, which is full consciousness. And a fully conscious being lives in a galactic society and is part of a galactic federation. So what they want us to do is to fulfill our potential. So what contact is about is the last stages of helping us to fulfill our potential. That's why we're going through this massive physical, mental shift that is causing a lot of changes within us. And, of course, when you're putting a lot of new chakras and meridians are activating and all kinds of things are happening in your body, plus you're suddenly becoming more aware as more and more of your spiritual and emotional body comes into your body, and then all of a sudden they're realigning your brain and putting more of your mental bodies in. So as a result, you are doing a lot of work, and so a lot of people will go through a lot of aches and pains, have some medical crises, go through a whole process of being fatigued, or go through a process where they have a ton of energy and then they suddenly feel fatigued and can't understand either one, why it suddenly happened. So we just have to understand that heaven is part of a great divine plan that is helping us to become who we are supposed to be, or reaching our full potential. The Galactic Federation's job is to be the physical, what you might say, mentors or educators or teachers of the great, incredible potential that will then be manifested when we become fully conscious, to help us understand it, prepare for it, know the etiquette of it, and how to best utilize it so that we are moral above beings in everything that we see, act, and do. So the process is to then get us there, and that's where we are right now. We're actually, it's kind of like if you were to look at it, we're kind of like if you were to look at an automobile factory as a thing, we're still being assembled.
And some of us more painfully than others.
That's right.
Because as we had talked about off air, I've been experiencing some major medical challenges, physical challenges, and as well as a lot of people I've talked to. And I'm going to mention something else. I'm also, as far as our change, besides physical change, in our economic structure, our systems are failing. That's very clear. I'm also seeing that people that are spiritual teachers and motivators, we seem to be being challenged right now with our own well-being, as it were. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Do you think that's deliberate, that the ones that are trying their best to get the message out there the most are being hit the hardest?
Well, that's part of the process. We've got people, I tell you, like Rasputin. They are trying desperately to keep from keeling over permanently. So they are doing each and everything they can possibly do. Like I have one of the hottest phones around. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. I get it. Let's talk a little bit about the infamous time frame that's coming up. You and I have, I think, the same posture on this, but let's talk about it a little bit. Everybody's talking about 2012, and it's almost getting to be the ho-hum 2012, just like it was the year 2000 where big changes were going to happen. What's going to happen around 2012? Nothing, Sheldan, or something?
It could happen earlier than 2012. We are in a speeded-up time frame. You know, it's the actual time that we're in right now is something like 16-hour days in actuality.
Right.
It feels like 24, so I figure if you're going through 16-hour days, it means that the weeks must be a lot less in terms of the amount of time that goes through it. it gives the outside, it's almost like the reality grid that we live within, the preconceptions that we live on, the core ways that we look at the world, tell us every day, well, today's Monday, tomorrow's Tuesday, when actually it may actually already be Wednesday.
I know. We have this linear time box that we're in that we just kind of keep marching to that little drum, and it's going to change, and we're getting a little confused with our rhythm, I think. Sheldon, let's back up just for a second here, because I find it fascinating that given your early beginnings with your experience with extraterrestrials, that you kind of took a hiatus, I guess, and kind of went mainstream with your studies. How did that come about? Was that by your own design and request?
Well, that was by my own crazy design. I had this ridiculous idea when I was a teenager. I have a tendency to be very altruistic about things, too much so I have discovered. And so I believed that I could actually go into physics and get into advanced quantum physics and do some things that I had learned as a kid from them about science and put that into science and help jumpstart a new paradigm in using astrophysics as a primary study guide for what I was doing. That didn't happen because when I got to college, I ran into this guy who was a Newtonian, and I found out later there had been quite a few people that were very smart and bright who didn't believe in his little box of how the world of physics operated, that had been kicked out of the physics department. So I went through that, and I had to make a decision, and my decision was I did not want to go to Vietnam, so I didn't.
You chose another path.
I went in political science, and I made sure I completed my degree, and then I got into graduate school. So
you also were in, was it the Tulsa energy researcher?
I did Tesla, yeah. I did a lot of Tesla. I discovered Tesla when I was in the early 70s. Nikola Tesla is one of the greatest geniuses that ever lived on this planet. He, all by himself, practically invented everything we look, see, hear, or feel about that's electrical. I mean, he even like we're even talking right now on a phone, and the basis of all of that is polyphase current. And so the result of that is Tesla invented everything. He invented the generator. He invented the relay systems, the transmission systems. He even invented the meter. And as a matter of fact, the meter that practically every power company uses right now to meter electricity is the one he invented in 1890.
That too.
The man was a unbelievable genius. He also helped, from learning about this with other people, he helped invent, for instance, everything you can think about with, he helped with television, he helped with computers, he really invented, as the 1943 decision of the Supreme Court did, he really invented radio, not Marconi. So all by himself with a tremendous, incredible ability to put things together and an unbelievable curiosity, one man basically invented everything we have today. As a matter of fact, when they did the 100th anniversary at the IEEE thing, they simply called him the man who invented the 21st century. So,
would you consider him a hybrid, or would people of that ilk, do you think that they are having some assistance with these inventions and creations?
Well, I think when he was a teenager, he had a very serious illness and almost died from it, so I think he was a walk-in myself.
Oh, okay. Okay, and just for our audience, I know what a walk-in is, but if you wouldn't mind explaining what a walk-in is for some of our audience?
Well, this is a being that basically walks in on another being when they're dying and exchanges soul energies with them and takes over.
Because basically a walk-in doesn't want to have to go through the whole birth and the whole growing up scenario. They have a mission and they're coming for a specific task. Isn't that true?
Right, and Tesla was so focused and so incredible. He could do things that today would sound unbelievable, even with computers. He could predict and simulate in his mind exactly every instrument that he created, electrically or otherwise, mechanically, whatever, and determine when the failure rate would be and how efficient it would be.
Amazing.
Which today you use computers for. And he was so incredibly